Hey, beautiful soul, beautiful sunshine, here with the R Holistic Healer, aka Sonia B. I am back with another prophetic message. So just keep in mind, if you're new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. And if you're returning, I just want to say welcome back. And for those of you who are not familiar or haven't heard the intro in any other videos, I just want to basically say this energy could be happening to you at this present moment, or it could be happening to you next week, or it could be happening to you within a month's time. Just keep in mind, and just keep in mind, if you're clicking on the video, obviously there's a message for you, and if the message isn't for you, it's obviously maybe associated to someone that's around you or someone that is close to you. So keep that in mind as well too. Anyway, yes, so let's get right into the messages. So what I wanted to basically say is the message I received this morning was basically some of you are going to be going through some of you are going to be sitting back. Either you guys are thinking, either you guys are either sitting there and thinking about your childhood. You're sitting there thinking about your childhood. It's almost like these pieces are kind of, I'm trying to figure out a way to say it. Okay, so let me just say this. Okay, so in my prophetic dream, I saw as if there was a child, and there was something that particularly that a child does in order to nurture themselves. Like, let's just say if they're dealing with a traumatic event, you know how babies have wobies, you know, their blankets, excuse me, or special stuffed animals, or, you know, those kids who suck their thumbs, or just kids who rub on their ears, or kids who do particular things like that as a child. Some of you guys are gonna be realizing that your kids do certain things, and it's gonna remind you of things that you have done from your childhood. Meaning like when you see your kids doing certain things, you're gonna realize that you also done those same things at the kids. It's almost like it's gonna be a remembrance of things that you have experienced in a sense, but it's like you're gonna be seeing it through your kids. So I think that's what was gonna trigger it. Again, you're going to see your kids experiencing certain things, and then you're going to find yourself. I don't know if you're going to see yourself doing. I have a feeling like maybe you're going to see yourself within your kids doing the same thing that they doing in order to mentally and emotionally comfort themselves as like kids. Yeah. So with all that being said, because I saw a child doing something, but I also saw the adult doing something too, that was letting me know that whatever it is that that child is dealing with in their childhood, like right now, that you're going to is going to be somehow associated back to your childhood and things that you did in order to comfort yourself through whatever experiences maybe that you may have, that you have dealt with from your childhood, is what you're going to start to notice. Yeah. So just keep in mind, you have to keep in mind that, remember I said before in like 2 or 3 videos ago, I had mentioned like there are things that you learn on this spiritual journey. It's almost like a spiritual scavenger hunt. And the scavenger hunt is like, it's almost like you trying to figure out, it's almost like trying to figure out your way throughout life. We already know that we do that, period. But I don't think some of you realize that with you doing that the divine spirit of light has a part to play in that. Meaning like, it's like he gives you little clues, send you on this little scavenger hunt, give you these little clues, and it's up to you to figure it out. That's why it's so important to pay attention to your intuition and what comes up for you at that moment. If something is telling you, and I don't know why I just heard, something's telling you to, this person isn't good. I don't know why. If this person isn't good for you, or if you see something within this person that you're kind of second guessing, that's like your intuition talking to you. I know sometimes we tend to second guess what's coming up because we're like, is that my head just thinking that? Or is that, you know, is this real? You know, the truth of the matter is it's real. That's your intuition, your higher self, divine spirit of light trying to communicate with you and allow you know that, you know, and just pay attention. If it keeps coming up, or if you keep hearing like those little same thoughts around certain people, or you get that around certain people, you know, keep that in mind too. And I'm not, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to confuse you guys, because it's almost like you got to navigate on your own, because, you know, there's 2 different energies you have to pay attention two. You have to pay attention to the positive, and then you have to try to disregard the negative. But at the same time, you need to ask yourself, why is the negative coming up? So it's almost like you don't want to push the negative to the side. You want to acknowledge it, what's being said and why is it being said. But then after that, not holding on to it, but releasing it and letting it go, whatever it is, whatever the thought is, you know. And I'm not saying that, you know, something say jump off a bridge, you jump off a bridge. That's not what I'm saying. Let me give that disclosure now. But I'm just saying, that's why it's so important to get in tune with your intuition. And sometimes it's a little hard when you always have people yapping in your ear, or, you know, doing this and doing that, or you have a lot of busy things or people around you. That makes it really hard, because you're not even sure at what point what's yours or what's theirs, or, you know, sometimes you're thinking it is just yours, and a lot of times you just picking up on other people's energy. So yeah, keep those things in mind too. Yeah, so again, these issues are coming up because Divine Spirit Light, Divine Spirit Light is trying to get you to get to the excuse me, y'all, it's a little lint falling. Divine Spirit Light is trying to get you to get to a place of figuring out where and why certain things are coming up for you. Yeah, it's almost like a puzzle piece. It's like a scavenger hunt, guys. If you look at it like a scavenger hunt and try not to look at it from a place of just being, oh my God, like I'm so sick of this, you know. And I get it, because it can get frustrating. You know, there was plenty of cycles and things that I had to learn along this journey. And there were certain things I was like, wait a minute, why do I feel like I keep repeating the same pattern? I was like, oh no, In the moment that I notice that I feel like I'm repeating a pattern, I immediately try to acknowledge, okay, Lord, what is it that you want me to learn here, so I can do something different and move on from that lesson, so I can just, again, wait for the next lesson to come in, because there's always a lesson to be learned. You know, that's how we evolve. That's how we become spiritually mature and, you know, spiritually aware of what's going on around us. Just take it as if the Divine Spirit of Light just wants you to be whole in all areas of your life, you know, because if you don't know thyself and know where certain experiences are coming from or why you do certain things, then how can you be... It's almost like God is trying to cleanse you, is what I'm hearing. He's trying to cleanse you before you can receive your it's almost like running a marathon, you know. When you run a marathon, you got to pass all these people. You got to pass, not saying this is not about the people, so don't look at it as such, but it's about, you have to go through these different tasks in order to, you know, in order to do a marathon. You got to do what? You got to get out there and practice. You got to train. You know, you do a little bit, and you don't do it overnight. Meaning you don't run a marathon overnight. Over time, you have to practice, you train, you do a little bit more than you did the day before. You know, you do a little bit more than that than you did the week before. You know, so those are the things that Divine Spirit Light is trying to get you to do. And again, it's almost like a scavenger hunt. So anything that I am bringing to your information, I've had to deal with this myself. And I say all that to say, because I had to fix my daddy issues, should I say. Yes, I had to fix my daddy issues. So, but anyway, with all that being said, and make no mistake, because I had a little bit of mommy issues too. But I see things from a different perspective than I've ever done before. And let me say that, because at one point in time, I kind of point the finger at my mom and kind of blamed her for certain things. But I realized, you know, like, she didn't know. She, you know, in Divine Spirit Light had to show me, like, you know, like, no, she's human just like you are. You know, we all make mistakes. And the more you keep pointing at that person, the more you just allow yourself to become, let me just say, if you stay stuck in that energy, the more you find yourself upset, the more you find yourself being angry about something, and you won't know necessarily where it's coming from. It's almost like you put more stink on top of stink, and that's not solving anything. So sometimes you got to just pull yourself back, you know, by the shirt, and just, you know, just take a moment, pause, sit, and ask yourself, why are you feeling this way? So 9 times out of 10, if you just ask, you will receive. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, knock and the door shall be open. You know, seek and you shall find. You know, if you don't ask God, or ask God to show you, or your higher self, or, you know, spirit guides, or whoever that is leading you, we all have gods around us, you know, whether we want to believe it or not. But I don't want to sit here and have a debate about it and say who's right, who's wrong, because nobody's right or nobody's wrong. And I don't want to sit here as if I'm self-righteous, because that's not what I'm trying to do. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm just sharing the information and sharing the knowledge that, you know, things that I wasn't aware of myself until actually being on this journey. And I say all that to say that, yes, like a classic example, I realized that I needed to heal my inner child. And I'll say this, Divine Spirit Light showed me a dream at the time that I didn't realize was a prophetic message at the time. And what it was is, it was like me in a stairwell of a building, but there were so many boxes in the way. Like when I say boxes in the way, the boxes was at the top of the stairs. They say from one floor. They say if you walk into a stairwell of a building and you go from one floor to the next level. So from one floor to the next level, I could literally see it from this level down to the end of the stairs was the next level. And there was nothing but boxes in the way. So I walked out the door into the stairway, and I was like, who left all these boxes sitting here? And the first thing I thought to myself, I was like, oh my God. I was like, no, I'm not lifting these boxes or whatever. And I had somehow managed to pick up the boxes weren't even heavy. I guess I thought they were heavy, but what I did was I took one box out of the way and I stacked it on top of another one, and I made my way down to the next level of the floor. Well, that was a sign for me that the Divine Spirit Light was trying to show me that was me going through a phase in my life where I was having to heal and deal with my inner child. And not only that, but once I made it down to the bottom of to the next level of the down to the last stair, because there was a child standing down at sorry y'all. There was a child standing down at the bottom of the last step, just standing there, just waiting. And this child, I got a feeling like it wasn't a female, nor was it a male. So it was kind of like, almost like they were both, it was like a masculine and feminine energy in one person. I don't want to say necessarily hermaphrodite, as people would say, because it was just more so of just acknowledging that it was, again, we all have masculine and feminine energy in us. So I just knew that they wasn't a particular gender, but they were both at the same time. So I say all that to say, once I made it down to the bottom of the stairs, the child had told me basically, okay, he was like, what did they say? Because it's been so long ago. This was almost like 2 years ago when I received that message. Oh, the child had said basically, okay, I'm getting ready to go now. And basically the child was trying to tell me that, you know, you work through your issues, you know, the boxes was representing obstacles and, you know, blockages that was in my way. So was I going to allow those blockages to stop me? No, I proceed on and I moved the boxes to the side and I made my way down to the end of the stairs, where again, the child had gave me a hug and said, okay, I'm going now. Like, you healed your inner child. So now I'm leaving. So I say all that to say that, that was a message that I had received, and that was letting me know that I had done the work that I needed to do in order to heal. So just understand this, guys. One thing I notice is when you heal that inner child, because I know this might have been almost maybe 10, 12 years ago. How long have I been staying? I think it's 13 years this year. So I want to say probably like about 10 or 11 years ago. I know I used to always tell my family in a sense, like, and I don't even know where that was coming from at the time. So as I said before, sometimes I say things and I don't even know why I say them, but I realize that because again, I'm Aquarius and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, is like I have information way ahead of time than what most people may receive. It's almost like, because Uranus represents the future or whatever the case may be. So I receive information like ahead of time, way before, you know, sometimes other people receive it. But anyway, so with all that being said, I used to tell people like, when you have unresolved issues, you know, it affect your adult life. And that was just me basically saying at that time, you know, when you don't deal with your childhood issues, you know, it can affect you in your adult life. And true, it does, you know. And I give you a classic example. When I said I only talked to my dad like twice in my life, the first time he called, I was around 12 or 13, I believe. And I spoke to him for the very first time. The conversation wasn't too long, but he asked me if I needed anything. And I was thinking maybe, okay, this is him, you know, trying to do better, should I say. And that was my first time, again, speaking to him ever in my life. Never seen him, never talked to him. And told him some things that, you know, I would like to have. And you know what, child didn't. So at that moment, that was my first experience of testing someone to see whether they were going to follow through with what it was that they were saying. In other words, I was putting expectations on him of what I thought he should be doing, rather than just allowing him to do or be himself without me putting expectations on it. So I say all that to say, basically, that was the start of me doing that in, you know, different relationships. When I went on to have, you know, other relationships, I found myself testing people in a sense to see where they were coming from. Whether are you loyal or, you know, whatever the case may be. And, you know, again, putting those high expectations on them or whatever the case may be. Now, am I saying that I shouldn't have high expectations? I do. I don't need to put them on people. People are already going to come with their own expectations. I feel like they're going to match me is what I'm trying to say. So it's not me holding them up on a pedestal thinking that, oh, okay, well, you're not supposed to do this, and that. No, it's not my job to tell you not to do this, and that. You should already know because you experienced so much in your life that you know not to do this, and that without me putting expectations on you. So you see, I'm not putting expectations on it. They just experience so much stuff in their own life that they already know. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry, y'all. I got something on the stove. I thought it was kind of boiling over. Anyway, so again, that's without me putting expectations on them, but they already come in with their own standards, should I say, and integrity and morals and values for themselves, because they themselves have been through something. They experienced something. So without experiencing things, you don't necessarily, you tend to respond in a different type of way if you don't experience certain things, should I say. But once you experience certain things, you tend to respond in a more mature fashion, should I say. Excuse me. So anyway, but that was just a little glimpse of just a little patterns that I had noticed with myself or whatever. So again, this dream was just about you guys just paying attention, because somehow, some shape or form, you're going to see through your kids. You're going to see basically yourself in your kids and why you do some of the things that you do. So anyway, guys, with all that being said, let me go ahead and wrap this up. I have 3 decks of cards I'm going to use real quick just as inspirational messages. But yeah, so anyway, let me just get right in so I can hurry in this, because I got to go wash my hair. Trying to pre-do dinner at the same time, and after I'm done, I'm gonna relax. The rest of the day is mine. I already pre-shuffled these cards, guys, so I'm not gonna do too much shuffling. I'm just basically gonna give you again an inspirational message. And honestly, I feel like me doing this and me not going me explaining to you too much in regards to the cards, but you seeing the cards and you kind of taking the message yourself. I feel like it's, I don't know, I feel like God is just trying to say, like, by doing that, it's almost like helping you to tap into your own intuition. What comes up for you when you see the message? I mean, I'll give you my little glimpse, but again, it's just a little glimpse. But other than that, it's, when I show you the card, it's up to you to how you receive that. Again, by doing this, it's helping you to tap more into your intuition, your own intuition, not someone else's interpretation. And just remember, whatever comes up first for you, you should listen to that, because I know sometimes what usually comes up first, we tend to second guess that, and usually that's the message that we really need to hear. And I'm talking about outside of the cards, just on a daily basis when you're dealing with people, or, you know, when something's speaking to you. It's funny that this daughter came out, because I saw this in the daughter card too. All right, last one. Okay. So the first card came out. It says love life. The basis of your question involves your romantic life, which is now changing for the better. That was the first one. The second one is daughter. The answer to your question involves your daughter. Which is so funny because in the dream I saw that there was a daughter who was doing something and the mom did the same thing. But again, don't take it as if it's just pertaining to daughter, because I feel like, again, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. In other words, you know, it's just more of the feminine energy. It's more of the feminine energy that I healed that was, I guess, wounded. And then the other one says new home. Moving is a step in the right direction for you. The last one is spring. Your desires fully manifest as the flowers begin to bloom. So again, take it how it resonates. And again, just remember that this could be a message for someone else. But if you know, if you're someone that works on your issues, or, you know, to make yourself a whole in all areas of your life, then these cards are so hard to shuffle. Do one more shuffle. If nothing doesn't come out then. This one says, I am willing. Am I willing? You are on the edge of something great. Can you feel it? Yes, there is risk, uncertainty, and imperfections ahead. Failure is certain and vulnerability is requirement. You must be brave and trust yourself. More than ever. You will reach the dream, but you must stretch yourself into a whole new level of belief and willingness in order to move forward with courage. So again, I'm gonna read it one last time. You are on the edge of something great. Can you feel it? Yes, there is risk, uncertainty, and imperfections ahead. Failure is certain, but it doesn't have to be. And vulnerability is requirement. It's a requirement. You must be brave and trust yourself more than ever before. You will reach the dream, but you must stretch yourself into a whole new level of belief and willingness in order to move forward with courage. So again, that's addressing those wounds, y'all. We got to address those wounds, because I knew that I couldn't move forward unless I addressed my wounds. And when I did, it was almost like, shoo, you know, it's like a leap, a big leap at that. Okay. And then it says, today's soul action: be brave, follow your heart's compass, and lift the lid on your own dreams. Today's mantra is, it's possible. All things are possible. Remember that? So again, am I willing? If you guys want to read this message fully, you can just pause the video and read through it. And the last one is the Archangel's Oracle deck. So that card had a lot to do with, you know, just again talking about dealing with your childhood, realizing through your kids like things about yourself. So again, just remember, you're gonna have to take risk. It's up to you. The longer that you sit and ponder in the stagnant energy, the longer you may find yourself repeating this, finding yourself keep dealing with that. Anyway, but the universe may not let you sit there too long. But sometimes he wants to know if you make a step, he'll make 2 or 3 more steps for you. Keep that in mind too. And you have to be taking risks. Like I said, me doing this right now, it's a risk. I normally pull these cards for myself behind the scene, on the scene. I don't normally do that. So I'm just trusting. I'm trusting and I'm going with the flow. Yeah, I'm just going with the flow. So, and definitely vulnerability. Oh God, I don't. You know, I be jacking this word up all the time. That's a must. That doesn't mean that that comes in so many different shapes and forms. And I say that to say, because people think when you're vulnerable that makes you weak. No, that makes people know that they can trust you, meaning like you have nothing to hide in a sense. When I say open, you're not open, but you have nothing to hide. What you see is what you get, meaning like it's truth. It's real. It's not false. It's not cloaking itself. It's not masking itself to be something that it's not. So yes, is that a requirement? Yes, vulnerability is a requirement that you have to have. Most definitely. I had to have it on this dream, you know. Definitely had to have it. All right. There are actually 2 cards missing from this deck, and they're actually upstairs. So I use it as my inspirational cards, but you know, whatever message that needs to come out, Divine Spirit Light will allow it to come out. Okay, so take it how it resonates, guys. The bottom of the deck says comfort. Archangel Raziel, I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. So, see that? Helping you to heal with those childhood issues. Anyway, and again, that's no judgment because I had to heal mine too. The first one says divine order. Archangel Raziel, everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusions and see underlying order. So whatever you see right now in the present moment that you feel like is chaotic, God is trying to say, look past the illusions, because he's working behind the scenes in so many different ways that you don't even have no ideas. And I tell you this to say, if this gives you a little clue, I had a prophetic message, and I think this one was over on Patreon some time ago. I don't know if this was back in January or December. I saw angels flying. They was like angels all over the place. And what these angels were doing, and oh my God, I got chills right now just saying it. What these angels were doing behind the scenes that you have no idea about. What these angels were doing was putting out little fires. Because that's what I saw. I saw little pockets of fires everywhere. And all I saw was those angels swooping in and, you know, literally like, you know, they was just all over the place. And I was like, oh my God, I was just in awe. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I was asking people, do you see those angels? But it was as if I was the only one that could see the angels and see what they were doing. But yes, so just notice behind the scenes, or what you cannot see, just understand that there's divine order. There's divine order. Divine Spirit Light has your back. Divine Spirit of Light is guiding you. So try not to get caught up with the illusions or what goes on around. I give you a classic example. I try not to, well, not try not to. I don't watch the news, and I don't watch the news for reasons, because I realize that myself can be a little sensitive to news. And I say that to say, because the moment I watch the news, I become triggered, and I realize anything that's triggering me like that, I need to just stay away from. And that's just me, period. And that I had to learn that lesson. So, you know, I don't tap into that energy, but sometimes, you know, my kids come and tell me certain things or whatever. And they come to me with certain things, but they don't necessarily come to me with the news. Just like little small things or whatever, like the gas thing and, you know, stuff like that. Which I had no idea about until, you know, they said something. But, you know, I know people's like, well, how can you function like that? I have to, because I don't want to, because if I start tapping into that energy, I may start tapping into everybody else's illusions of what they think is going on, or their panics, them feeling panic. Because remember, some people are empaths. They can pick up on other people's stuff. And I choose to keep myself not tuned into certain things because I don't want to tap into that energy. Yes, so that's just me. But anyway, so just keep in mind divine order. Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusions and see the underlying order. And then the next one came out was Counselor. Counselor, Archangel Raziel, you are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. So keep that in mind, guys. You know, sometimes we are lots of things that we don't even realize that we are, but until we heal ourselves, or at least go through some of the clues to the scavenger hunt, and once we're being obedient and honor ourselves as well too, and healing out, you know, it's almost like cleaning, having an oil change. You know, in order to have an oil change, you got to clean out the gook and all that other stuff, and you got to flush the system and do all that other stuff. That's almost like what the Divine Spirit Light is trying to say. And then once some of that stuff is being done, guess what? Part of the reward is you start tapping into your spiritual gifts. You know, everybody has their own spiritual gifts. You know, as, let me say this real quick. You know, I know the Bible talks about, was it Matthew's? The different gifts that we all have. I can't remember the name of the scripture, but I'll let you read it for yourself. Oh, okay. So the 7. No, not those. Hold on, y'all. Is this it? Maybe I'm typing in the wrong thing. Okay, I feel like I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway, if you type in, oh shit. Anyway, if you type in, you know, I think it's in Matthew where it talks about the spiritual gifts. You know, the prophet, the teacher, the healer, and so on and so on. Anyway, so just know that once all that gook is cleaned out of the oil change, should I say, you know, people start to tap into their spiritual gifts. So yeah, and yes, we're all capable of them. So keep that in mind too. And then the last card is, some of you are in for a career transition. Career transition. Archangel Charmel, your life purpose is triggering a blessing career change. So I had to go through this too, and I didn't even know what that, and honestly I was like, what? Because everything that I knew to be, yeah, everything that I knew to be, and to say, because early childhood was the field that I was in, and now I realize that, you know, I'm gifted in so many other things, and I became certified in so many other things too. Like, it's just like, what? Like, really? So yeah, I know that may be a little shocker for you, some of you, but again, everything happens in divine time, and so you will be divinely guided in some sort of way, shape, or form of trusting in the universe, in the process. So yes, just keep in mind that God has everything under control, and when you release control, you speed up the process a little bit more rather than trying to control the situation. So that's first and foremost. Is the key is to release control of how you think things should turn out. And I know that's the hardest, I know that's the hardest thing to do, guys, because me, I was always someone who was able to control everything in my life. So to really release control, that was so hard for me. As I explained in my my bio on my website, that was hard for me. That was hard for me because it's almost like Aquarius is a leader. So therefore, just to lead my life, and to know that every time, you know, to go from leading your life to now having to release of leading my life and sit back and allow divine spirit of light of leading it for me. And I'm going to tell you how you know that you're not on the right path. When you start to experience blockages, that's when you know you're going the wrong direction. So if you keep finding yourself in situations to where you feel like you're being blocked, or you feel like nothing's not working right, then that's a sign that maybe you need to do something different, and keep that in mind too. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a rest of a beautiful day on this Sunday day. Enjoy it. The birds are really chirping. Try to get out in nature. Try to vibrate high. Most of all, pay attention to what comes up. And I want you guys to look out for something that I'm actually, a project I have been working on behind the scenes that I have been divinely guided to do. So I will be posting that probably sometime soon, when I'm being divinely guided to put it out. But right now I'm in the process of trying to rewrite it. So anyway, with all that being said, I wish you all much love, much light until the next prophetic message. And remember, when you pay attention to your kids and see yourselves within them, and those are going to give you some answers and some clues to your own personal childhood, if you're choosing to want to heal those things. Just keep in mind that the longer that you stay in those energies of not wanting to heal, just the longer it would just take the process. And I'm not trying to say speed up the process, because it's going to be what it's going to be, and it's going to turn out how it wants to turn out. But you know, just keep in mind that, again, cards have spoken. Everything is in divine timing. So when God feel like you have sat there long enough and you stayed in stagnant energy and you had enough time to sit there and think about certain things, now it's time to move on to the next lesson. And yes, remember, to the day we be leaving this earth, there's going to always be lessons. I've always felt like, I've actually heard this saying some time ago when it said that the word Bible stood for basic instructions before leaving earth. In other words, yeah. So if you think about the BILE, you know, basic instructions before leaving earth, I think it's so true. Like, we're always going to be learning life lessons before we leave in this earth. But anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope this information was helpful, and just pay attention to your kids. Sometimes you ain't got to say nothing. Just sit back and observe, and just observe the things that they do, and ask yourself, you know, because usually if our kids do certain things, usually we do, you know, we have done those certain things. So keep that in mind too. All right, guys, I'm wishing you all much love and much light. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.